So often in today's media, we hear about coaches treating athletes poorly. This is something of particular concern to Heather Benning at Grinnell College. Her philosophy of coaching focuses on developing the whole person. Let's hear what she has to say about it.
For me, a big part of my philosophy is grounded in the experience that I had. As a person who grew up playing sports and had that just such an important part of my identity, I have always valued what athletics brings to the life experience of someone who participates in sport. But then there's also the part where my mother grounded me as I navigated the college search process and reminded me that the most important thing when you pick a school is it a good fit educationally? And I've never been somebody who disregarded the importance of academics. I mean, that was just a given, but I didn't think about it in the same way that I thought about the conscious choice of what sport I was going to play or where I was going to play a sport or who my coach was. Academics, I just did. And so it took my mother to remind me of that, because it was such an automatic when it came to choosing a college, that I think had a really profound impact on me as I moved forward as a coach, and reminded myself that these two things are the most critical elements for a young woman who's grown up playing sport, who's looking at a college, and that certainly sport should not trump the academics, whether that be in their choice of where they go to school or their experience once they're there. And I think you'd be hard pressed to find a coach in this country who won't say academics are the number one priority. But how much does that get carried out in the experience of the student? And not only how much does that get carried out in the experience of the student, how much are the students given the opportunity and supported in being fully integrated in the experience of college, of going to the university? And that to me that's at the core of what I do. I want to coach soccer. I want to be part of a competitive program. I want my women to be better soccer players when they leave Grinnell than when they came in. But what's most important to me is that's part of the overall context of their Grinnell experience. And I feel like that is my obligation, to make sure that their experience at Grinnell is one that is fully integrated as a student athlete, as a member of the social community at Grinnell. And so much of what I do is constantly checked against that. And are we keeping this in balance? Are we staying integrated as an athletic department with the overall institutional mission? Are those things all in harmony? And it really, I think, to me, makes me feel good about what I'm doing at the end of the day, that my coaching philosophy, that my way of approaching recruiting, that my way of mentoring my students is in alignment with what our institutional goals are, and that I'm graduating women each year who are Grinnellians. I always say you're a Grinnellian first, and then you're a member of the women's soccer program. And being an athlete should never privilege you over the general student population. It should just hold you to a higher standard. And so that, I think, as I reflect upon my experience and how I came to that philosophy, so much of it goes back to just that one pivotal moment when my mother grounded me as a junior in high school and said, you need to reevaluate your priorities as you're choosing schools. And similarly, when I was in that undergraduate experience, evaluating, am I getting the most academically and athletically that I want from this experience? And to take that leap as a third year and say, I think I can do more. Not that where I wasn't giving me something, because I loved my experience at Cornell College, but it was this hunger for a little bit more, a more fully integrated experience, a more challenging experience. And that's what I hope to give the women that I coach at Grinnell. It just, to me, it's the right thing to do, and it's what we want as Division III administrators, as Division III coaches, what the NCAA Division III platform is all about, is this integrated experience of the student athlete.
Once again, we thank you for joining us for this episode of The Real Women of Coaching, part of the Women's Coaching Network. We'll see you again next week as we wrap up our conversation with Heather, discussing travel planning for coaches.